Dress for Success Columbus is a game changer for every woman. Why is it crucial? Because it's more than just about clothes, it's about empowerment. It's about breaking through barriers, shattering stereotypes, and forging pathways to success. Access to our services means gaining skills, confidence, and a network. From our mobile career center bringing opportunities to your doorstep, to personalized success coaching sessions, guiding you toward your goals and propelling you forward. Every woman deserves a tribe. Through women-to-women mentoring and style sessions, we connect you with experienced mentors and help you define your unique style. In our professional women's group, we foster a community of growth and collaboration where your success is celebrated and amplified. We create a community where support is abundant and dreams are nurtured. It's about turning individual successes into a collective triumph. The impact is profound. It's not just about landing a job. It's about unlocking potential, building resilience, and leaving a lasting legacy. So why is access to Dress for Success Columbus crucial? Because every woman matters. Her success is the catalyst for positive change, rippling through families, communities, and the world. Hi, good morning. My name is Erica Morgan, and I am the Director of Programs at Dress for Success. And I am so excited that you are here with us this morning. Happy Women's History Month. I hope that everybody is well. As we are going through this conversation, please know that you can drop questions in the chat, and we will try to get to those questions as we are moving. Hey, Fatima,
Hello,
girl.
Erica.
How you feel?
I feel great. How about you?
I feel wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and dive right in, all right?
All right, let's do it.
All right. So, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So, my name is Fatima Bouyer. I am the founder and owner of 3 amazing badass brands. I have Office Badass, which is my virtual administrative assistant business. Gym Badass, which goes by the Whole You Wellness Studio. We provide fitness services for women. And then Badass Mobile Bartending, we provide mobile bar services for venues and any social setting, actually.
Y'all hear that? You are phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, girl, you was like the perfect fit because who doesn't like to work out in the morning? You know, in the morning, the first early morning workouts be the truth. And then later
Yes.
on in the afternoon, you have a little cocktail.
Yep.
Maybe no mixers to keep them calories out that you burnt in the morning.
Straight out on no
Yes,
chase. Right.
straight,
We
no
don't need the
chase.
calories.
I
Yes.
don't like dead calories.
Nope. Me either.
Yes. Well, awesome. Okay, so tell me, what does having an entrepreneurial mindset mean to you, and how has it influenced your career today?
Yeah. So I would say having an entrepreneurial mindset to me means innovation. It also means resiliency. And I would say those 2 things have influenced my journey as an entrepreneur before I was an entrepreneur. Just being able to think ahead, think forward, be innovative, stay on trend, and then just resilient. Do the work, right? It takes a lot of hard work and drive to keep going. And those are 2 traits that I immediately think of when I think about the entrepreneurial role.
Yes, I love that. Look at that smile. That means that you are loving, you are living your best life.
I'm definitely living in my dream and living in my passions, I would say. We're gonna get this behind us. And that's the other thing is like just operating in your natural gifts.
Yes.
And so once you identify and understand what those are, even the hard work becomes easy.
Yeah.
And I say easy lightly, but it's like you get a sense of fulfillment from it and purpose. And so you do what needs to be done.
Do what needs to be done. Innovation and resilience is key.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love that. All right. So, can you share some specific examples of how you applied entrepreneurial thinking to your roles you had prior to becoming an entrepreneur?
Yes, I would say I'll go back to innovation, right? And also just being solution based is another thing that I will focus on. So instead of waiting for somebody to point something out to me or say, have you thought of this? Which is fine. I also would approach and have always approached my role to say, well, have you thought of this? Or what about this? Or why that? Because when you begin to dig a little deeper, then you can understand how to infuse something that you are good at, or that you have better, value to add. So while innovation is great, just think forwardly, like, how can I help? How can I provide a solution? How am I thinking ahead to help this person get to whatever end goal that they have?
Yes.
And it's the same way that I think about my businesses now and how I try to run my businesses. It's like, I'll question myself. Okay, why are you doing this?
Mhm.
Okay, what if this happened? And then sometimes it's even bringing in others to be like, okay, if you read this, how would you feel? And what questions would you have? And that way I'm able to infuse that feedback to push things forward.
I love that you seek feedback, right? And I also love that you question yourself, why am I doing this? Because I think that in that process, as you continue in your journey, we'll get to how long you've been in, you've been an entrepreneur, but as you continue that, you remember your why, right? So you continue to remember your why. And so I think that also drives you and helps you be successful. And look at you now with 3 businesses. Come on, girl. Come on. Yes. Okay. So you've been an entrepreneur for 2 decades, right?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. When you think about the woman you were when you started your businesses over 20 years ago, what would you say to her today? And what advice would you give her?
Yeah. So I think the first thing that I want to touch on is the 2 decades. And so while that's a true statement, it's also a little bit of I've been a true entrepreneur for about 10 years, 1 decade. But I've been an entrepreneur, and what I would say an entrepreneur in all of my roles for 20 years, right? And so I've always operated under how can I do this? How can I take initiative? How do I not wait for somebody to tell me what to do? I think that's one of the greatest gifts that I've given my leaders as an executive assistant. And when I think about my younger self and what I would tell her, trust your gut, right? Trust your gut and go with what you know, and be okay with asking questions or standing up in the room and having that little moment of uncomfortableness to get to what you feel is next for you.
Yeah, I love that. You have to trust your gut, right? Because our gut doesn't lie to us.
Nope.
Our heart.
And our heart can play with us a little bit.
Will deceive us, but our gut is always on point.
Correct.
So I love that you said that. Trust your gut. You know you.
You know you.
You know you better than anybody knows you.
Exactly.
And your gut is going to lead you down the right path. So I'm glad that you said that.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
You are welcome.
So what are some common misconceptions about entrepreneurship?
Whew. I like this question because I think now with the society that we're in, right, and we highlight things and we have these reels and we have this social media, and it's really for the beauty of life. And that's why I love social media, because I love to see people having a good time. But in essence, it's not a straight line. It's not always pretty. It's not always the glorified what we choose to show you. And there are some people who choose to expose some snippets of the behind the scenes, but I can guarantee that you don't see it all.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not a straight line. It's not linear. It's very much a up and down and an ebb and flow. But if you are in purpose and if you are doing the things that you know you're supposed to do, and that faith walk is playing out in the services or the resources that you are providing as an entrepreneur, it's okay. It feels good even on the toughest day. And you wake up and you turn a new leaf and you push through and go. But it's not a straight line. It is not a straight line. And I just want to help people understand that, because a lot of times people are like, yes, be an entrepreneur, do this thing. It ain't for everybody. It's okay to have a career. Sometimes I'm like, I should have stayed in corporate, because I can wake up, I can get my check, I can take my vacation uninterrupted if I choose. Whereas as an entrepreneur, you still got to sometimes touch something or tap in. And I know we're not talking about work-life balance today, but you do create that work-life balance even as an entrepreneur, but it's a different level of how you connect to it and how you check in and how you say. So it's not straight. But it's possible. It's not straight.
It's not straight. It's definitely not straight. And work-life balance is something that I think that needs to be called out, right? Because a lot of people see the glory and the glam of being an entrepreneur, and they think like, oh, well, if I start this t-shirt business, or if I do this, I'm gonna make all this money.
Right.
And that's not always the case. You don't make six figures in your first year of
Yeah.
being in entrepreneurship.
Correct.
And it's a misconception. And I think that it's really important that conversations like this is had, because it's not always easy.
It's not.
Nobody said it will be easy, but if it's your passion and it's your purpose, it's worth it.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
worth it.
Yep. And it's so funny you say people are like, oh, I have this idea, and they think about always initially how much I'm going to make.
Yeah.
Factor in those expenses.
That's
And
right.
also factor in the time too, because time is an expense. It's not always currency. And so if you're spending so much time to make $1, is it worth it?
That's
Right? Or if this is what you're charging and your expenses is this much, is it worth it?
Yeah.
It got to make sense. So you got to do a little bit of the work to really piece everything together so that you can get not only the financial profit, but even the personal profit, the mental
Yes.
profit, the spiritual profit, because it all plays its part
I
in
agree.
life.
Yeah. Alignment.
Yes.
Alignment.
Yep.
You said that, and I think that that's so important, because alignment is key. Because time
Mhm.
to me is money.
Yes, it is.
Right. And
Yes,
so
it is.
being an entrepreneur myself, and those late nights of packing orders or doing whatever, sleep,
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Like, girl, you work a 9 to 5, you got this business, you have 3 businesses.
Yes.
Like, finding time for self, because
Mhm.
self-care is also key, right? To be successful.
Yes.
So I love that.
Yes.
Okay, look, time is an expense. That
Time
is
is
so
an expense,
true. I
yes.
love that someone said that, because it is.
It
Time
is.
is money.
Mhm. It is.
My time is so important to me, because you can't get it back.
Very true.
There's no refund
At all. I can get my money back. I can do it. I can ask for a cash refund, but time you're not going to get that back.
Yes,
And
there-
so you got to choose how you spend it wisely.
Amen
Mhm.
to that. I love that. Choose wisely how you spend your time.
Yes.
All right, so there is a question in the comment, and it says, what skills did you gain from your previous roles in corporate that are supporting you in your businesses today?
Oh, I love that question, because at the time in corporate, when I was doing certain things, it didn't make sense to me,
Yeah.
but I did my role. And so I have supported a chief marketing officer. So you think about the things, the tools, the resources, and working with TV and working with media and how that plays its part now. I have worked at an organization where I supported multiple leaders at one time, and they were all very busy. And so when you think about the ability to multitask effectively, that is my life right now, especially with the 3 different businesses. But even if you have one business, you have to, teeter totter and multitask and get a lot of things done, especially when you're by yourself. And we can talk about support and all of those things later. But those are some of the, I would say, key attributes that I used in my other roles, that at the time I'm like, man, why am I so busy? Why would they give me another leader to support? Like, this doesn't make sense. Now I'm like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it makes things now that I have to process and go through just a little bit easier. I'm like, I've done this before.
That's right.
I've wore these different many hats before. And so it in my brain, I'm like, all right, I see why I did this. I see why I was working with the CFO. I mean, you got to understand something about numbers in order to run your business, even if you have an accountant. So
Yes, it was the stepping stone to getting you to where you are today.
correct.
I love that.
Correct.
Yeah.
It all made sense now, and it all mattered. Every bit of it mattered.
It all matters. Thank you for that question.
Yes.
I'm just going to take a quick pause to reiterate that you can feel free to drop questions in the chat. Welcome to everybody that is here. Feel free to say hello. I see you. I might not see your face, but I see you. We see you. So continue to drop questions and comments in the chat, and we'll try to get to each of them. All right. So, how do you stay motivated and resilient in the face of challenges and setbacks?
This is a great question. And I would say, for myself personally, is I do have 3 businesses that are very much personal passions of my own. And so I'm in purpose. And I'm in purpose on purpose. I will also say, when I think about like my wellness space, the Whole You Wellness Studio, it's a transformation for me, not only physical, but mental. And so when I see these women journeying along, and I see how they come in and I see how they leave 3 months later or 6 months later, I'm like, ooh, it just feels so good. It makes me so happy. Even when I think about my office support business and I'm helping somebody be more efficient or figuring out a process, and it's people, to me, it's like, that's nothing. It's simple. And they'd be like, oh my God, light bulbs are going off everywhere. That makes me happy. And then, okay, when I think about the mobile bartending business, like, how could you not be happy serving a pretty cocktail? Like, that's an easy one right there. I'm going to serve you. I'm going to make it good. And so I think for myself, I am working in businesses that are a natural extension of who I am as a person. And so some days I'm like, I get to work out all day. I actually love working out. I don't always
We can
enjoy it,
tell.
but I love working out. But then I'm like, oh, when it comes to the, I am very straight line. I want to get things done. I want to be efficient. So being able to provide these things as services, it just ticks and talks for me.
Y'all see the sound? Living in purpose.
Living in purpose.
In purpose, on purpose. That's a whole word.
Mhm.
It is, right? Oh, look, we got another question. So, do you believe you can have an entrepreneurial mindset but not have a passion for owning a business? For instance, I like freelancing and so I can't even speak. Proprietorships. Sorry.
So to answer the question, absolute yes. And so when we talked about being an entrepreneur for 2 decades, I think about the first 10 years of my career journey. I wasn't an official entrepreneur. I was what I consider myself an entrepreneur, right? I was in somebody else's business, but I was still driving. I was still leading. I was still noticing things and talking to the proper people to be like, hey, have you thought about this? Or hey, have you thought about that? To me, that's an entrepreneur. So you're still doing entrepreneurial things and traits and having those skill sets, but you don't have as much of the risk as an entrepreneur, right? Whether it's like financially, you have to invest in this, or you decide to do it full time, those are all risks associated with being an entrepreneur. If I choose to do this in someone else's organization, and we need that, we need people. Everybody is, wearing these hats of entrepreneur. We need some folks that's going to work with us as well and support other people's businesses. And you can be a driver doing that. A business owner would love you to death, because I know I would. If somebody came on my business and they're like, hey, have you thought about this? And I know they have a vested interest in what I'm doing and who I'm serving. And it's on. It's like the best thing since sliced bread. It is on.
Yes, because entrepreneurial mindset to me, when I think about that, is leadership, right? Is bringing people with you, is living by example, leading by example. And so that is important. And you don't have to own a business to do that. You don't have to show up every day and put your best foot forward. You can do that at work. It doesn't matter where you are working. If if you're a custodian or you're a teacher or, a CFO or executive assistant, whatever your role is, showing up and giving 110% every day, that's what it takes. And so, if everybody had a business, who would have a job?
Exactly. Exactly.
If everybody had a business, who would have a job? And it's not for everybody, but everybody has the ability to be great in whatever role they're in. So that would be my feedback, is just to show up every day and do your best and be great at whatever it is that you're doing.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. I agree with you.
Yeah. So kind of in alignment with that is, what are the top attributes or skills that you believe are essential for success in any position, regardless of industry or level?
I would say innovation, just being innovative and, thinking a little bit outside of the box. We always want to find ways to make what we serve and what we do unique. It's competitive. It's a lot of people who do the same things or provide the same services. So how are you showing up a little bit differently? And I think that is just by virtue of tapping into who you are, because we are all different. So you have the ability, or we have the ability, to be innovative. The other trait that comes to mind is resiliency and drive. It takes that. No one's telling you like, hey, you need to be here at 8 a.m. You're like, hey, I need to get up at 8 a.m. to be able to do this, that, and that. And so I am in a service business, so I do have to show up at a certain time to serve my client. But if you're not in a service business and you are making t-shirts, you still have to have a schedule that says, I need to da-da-da-da-da-da. That's resiliency. Because there's a lot of days when you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
And those days, if they keep going and keep going, and now you're 6 months in and you didn't feel like it. But that resiliency is going to make you do it even when you don't feel like it.
That's a word. Doing it even when you don't feel like it.
You don't feel like it. What is the goal? What is the goal?
Doing it even when you don't feel like it. Listen, because some days, especially if you live somewhere where like Ohio, where we have all seasons in 3 days, so waking up
gray skies,
the gray skies, that snow, that ice, and you still got to get up and go and do it.
Yes,
doing it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Look, our chat is booming.
I like it.
So, the mission of Dress for Success is to empower women to achieve economic independence. As a woman entrepreneur, do you believe that you are on the road to achieving economic independence? And how can Dress for Success Columbus support women business owners like you?
I love this. I love this. So to answer the first part of the question is, do I believe that I am on the road to achieving economic independence?
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. And that road has been a journey, but I do have an accountant. So in that, I'm able to be strategic in terms of what has happened, what needs to happen. So we look over historical data, and then we look at what's happening currently and figure out, what is the plan, what is the strategy. So being able to be a full-time entrepreneur for 6 years,
Yeah.
and you're like, how am I going to make this same da, 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 da? It's happening. It's happening. You just have to be strategic. You have to be thoughtful, and you have to be like really in tune with, okay, what am I spending? What am I doing? How am I pricing my services? Does it all make sense? And get some support. And then the other part of the question was, how can Dress for Success support women business owners? I walked in here and I was ready to go shopping. You hear me? I said, wait a minute. So I think Habiba is doing a great job making sure that people understand that this place is here and that they serve more than just, some people's mindset. It's like, oh, I don't need, I can afford clothes, or I can go buy my own shoes. And I'm like, as soon as we're done, I'm shopping and I'm going to get styled and I'm going to do my thing. But I think Dress can support women by these type of opportunities, but also by just helping us understand that we are the population that you serve. You do not have to be in a certain category to come down here and get the resources. I've even seen some new initiatives with like workshops and just other access points that aren't about getting styled or getting shoes or getting, makeup. It's so much bigger and broader than that. And that makes me excited because it breeds community. And in community, there's so much that happens there. There are so many different resources. And when I mention resources, I don't always mean financial. Resources can also be for my brain. Like, dang, she just told me something that I didn't even think about. Or I just sat with her and I just feel good leaving the table. Those type of resources come from having community and being around other women, like-minded women. So,
do you work here?
No, not yet. I'll come down and do some fitness classes though.
You took words out my mouth. I love that you said, and we did not practice that. I love that you said that because dress is for all women. And that is the narrative that we want to make sure that the community receives. Dress is a sisterhood of women from all various backgrounds. And we have so many entrepreneurs, and they come to us, whether they're coming in, like you said, for a style session in the boutique, which is behind us, or they're coming to Professional Women's Group, or they're coming to our annual citywide conference, the Level Up Summit, or whatever it is that we're having. There is a doorway for you as a woman to come to Dress, and we encourage it. So I love that you said that, not knowing that, that is what the Queen team, that's the message that we're pushing. And so I love that message is in the community.
It is resonating. And I would just say, keep pushing and keep connecting. And whoever is doing behind the marketing, like it's been impactful and it's been effective. So
thank you for that. Thank you for that. I truly appreciate that. So there's another question in the comment, and they want to know if there's a specific or any advice that you have for someone that is a writer. How can they have entrepreneur mindset to help them write?
Oh my gosh. So, content creation, caption, there are so many things people write. And then you have to consider AI, who is doing writing for a lot of people. You are a real person that can connect to somebody's real personality. And so in that, you can provide a service that, these robots are coming in. I don't have anything against AI. I think there's some value in using all of the different new tools. But if you are an actual writer, that's one thing I can think of. And then another opportunity I can think of is get in a space where there's other writers and feed off of that energy. And what synergy is going to come off of that? And then create, ideas are going to pop in your head when you are in the room with other people, like-minded people, or just entrepreneurs and people who take initiative. You'll be like, wait, I never thought of that. Something's going to spark. So my advice would be to step in a room, get surrounded by people, and just listen. You don't always have to go and have something to provide or offer. Just listen. And from there, your spirit is going to receive what it needs to receive. And as a writer, if that's your natural gift and your passion, it's going to start talking to you. That spirit is going to light up and it's going to be on fire. And it's going to be things that you didn't even imagine. And that happens truthfully, like in all of my businesses. And so that's why I'm like, oh, the Holy Spirit is speaking. He is working, because I could not have thought of all of the things that have manifested in day one. And if I would have allowed that to stop me, it wouldn't be almost 10 years later. And so I took the first step is to go and just do it. The second step was, okay, let me start being around some other people. And from there, continuing to do that and just hearing from that spirit, hearing from your inner self, hearing from your gut. And then, wow, that makes sense. Yeah, I really feel like I can do that. And then start doing it and see what happens. Ooh-wee.
Back to that gut. Trust it.
Ooh-wee.
Trust your gut. I love that you said that again. I think it's important that we just free write. Just start writing. Right? Just start writing. Oftentimes you're driving in a car, you can't write while you're driving. Please don't do that. But a thought will come to you and you're like, oh, that was good. Or you wake up because something came to you in a dream. Write it down. You don't have to be intentional. You don't have to say, oh, okay, today I'm going to write that the sun is shining finally and there's no rain or there's no snow. Just freely write.
That's right.
And if it's alignment, it'll come to you.
It will.
It'll come to you. So I love that you came. Hi, Lorena. Thank you for that question.
Yes.
Look,
and if you can't write at the time, just leave yourself a voice note.
That's right.
I'm so good at leaving voice notes for myself. Yes, real quick, and then run it back. So
yes, I love it. Thank you. All right. So as an entrepreneur, what types of people does your inner circle consist of?
Ooh,
yes.
Good question. Your inner circle is going to be so important to your journey. And a lot of the women in my inner circle, well, let me start here. My husband is in my inner circle, and he is definitely a great support. He knows Fatima from every aspect of happy, sad, angry, whatever, hurt. Like, he knows that, and he knows how to support me in all of those different elements. We have been married for over 10 years. So there's that. But if you're not married or if you're not with anyone, I would say within my inner circle, I see women who are understanding. I see women who are supportive, who remember to check on me, even as a strong friend. They're going to send me something. They're going to ask me questions. They're going to make sure I'm good and make sure I am whole. And then I just see women who are like, okay, you've been working, let's go have some fun. Yeah. They're going to help me turn up a little bit, right? And so just not having that locked out tunnel vision. But I don't have a very big inner circle. I have a big community, but my inner circle is relatively small because I need to be able to go to them when I'm feeling vulnerable and not feel judged or not feel like I have to be this person that everybody knows me to be. And so I would say that is primarily what my inner circle consists of.
I love that. I think it's so important to have, not just as an entrepreneur, but as a woman, right? As somebody that's just a business person, whether you work in a 9-to-5, is having people that can hold you accountable.
That too.
Right?
Yes.
That's not always going to say yes and agree with you.
That too. That's a good one.
I think it's so important to just have a mentor.
I
think it's important to have a mentor. I think it's important to have a sponsor. I think it's important to have people in your circle that don't necessarily know you, everything that you've been through, right? To just be like, girl, you've been through so much. It's okay that you did this. No, it's not.
I love that.
It's not okay that I did that. And I need somebody that's going to keep it real and tell me that. Because some days I just want to come to you like, Fatima, girl, and you be like, yes, I love that you did that. And when you really don't do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Though I want it, though I may want it, but I don't want you to do that.
Yeah, everybody who knows Fatima, they know she is definitely. I will love you to death, but I will always be honest with you. Yes. And that is kind of hard to find though too. Is people who will. But I have my husband who is always gonna be honest with me. I don't care if he gonna let me know, and my older sister. Those are my two that they're gonna ride with me. They're gonna support me. They are definitely, but they're also gonna be like, you should have thought about that differently. I remember a call I was on, and I had my sister on the call. I'm like, text me. As I'm talking and going through this thing, and she's texting me, and she's like, okay, and that to me is like, so I have those trusted sources, but that is important. Somebody who's gonna hold you accountable. Yes. I don't care how strong you are. Did you get it done? Did you do that? Yes. But what's funny is I have used social media to hold me accountable. That's when I first started my page. Is I was like, all right, I'm doing this fitness journey. I would put stuff out there. And I'm like, ooh, I put it out there. I better do it. Ooh, and so you can use unique things like that too and consider it inner circle. It just depends on how you use the things that you do have.
I love that. I love that because social media will humble you.
Quickly.
It will humble you.
It can do that. It can do that.
And especially like if you're a business that if your business is something like product based or a fitness journey, like I want to know the truth. Don't tell me like, girl, I've been on the scale and I lost 20 pounds and you looking like, did you?
Right.
Like you don't have to tell me that. Like tell me the truth.
The truth, yeah.
Tell me the truth. Or like for instance, my product. Don't tell me that my product is great and you hated it. I want to know. I want the feedback because I might love it and the people that I know they love it, but it doesn't work for everybody every time. And I like that other side of the feedback as well. So it's important. So thank you for asking that question. I just say surround yourself with people that's gonna keep it real. Surround yourself with people that's gonna
growth,
keep it real.
Though. Yeah. That is growth. Because if everybody agrees with me, I'm like, how do I get the opportunity to grow?
Exactly.
Everyone needs a little challenge here and there.
Exactly.
Now you don't want the friends that's gonna challenge everything you say. Now hold on,
right,
sis. But
you gotta say it with grace. You gotta say it with
grace. Say it with grace.
Your approach is so important. All right. I have multiple mentors for different areas of growth and support needed. Kudos to you. That's I love that, Robin.
That's awesome.
Because every mentor doesn't know everything, right? So it's important to have that. So I love that you have that support system. Thank you for sharing that and thank you for being here. All right. So, we've been going through. So let's see. In your experience, what roles does networking and building relationships play in entrepreneurial success?
I will say networking, building relationships, having community is imperative for success as an entrepreneur, because if no one know that you're there, they don't know that you're there. So networking is honestly going to get you in front of and exposed to different opportunities, different people, folks that don't always look like you, right? That's going to give you some different resources and interactions. I have been a huge advocate here recently for cohorts. I didn't know they existed until last year. I am a driver. I'm a head down. I'm a get it done type of a woman. But I started getting into different cohorts last year. And I said, I'm going to do one every year because the amount of value that I received from being around other entrepreneurs, right? You got your inner circle people and the people who are going to rah-rah for you. But being around another entrepreneur brought some different levels of visibility. And then two, it's like the learnings and the modules and the things that I'm like, oh, wait, I've been figuring this out for this long and I didn't have to. Yeah. So I would say networking and that whole community for me, has been imperative to my journey. It has been a game changer. And then on the flip side to that, it has also converted folks into clients.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait, you do women's fitness. I didn't even know we had a female gym here. And I've had from different cohorts, I have people who started and they still are with me. And so I'm like, all right, it's a free cohort, but the business still made some money. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities in networking and getting out there. And then just growth for your own personal self, right? It's like, how do you continue to level up? How do you continue to challenge yourself as an entrepreneur? And you can stay in this bubble and feel like you got it all together, or you can go sit somewhere and be a part of an experience. You're like, ooh, that felt a little uncomfortable. Yes. But in that uncomfortableness comes growth. And when it's time for you to talk about and sell about and be about your business, you need those moments that's going to stretch you just a little bit so that you feel more comfortable as you continue to grow and develop as a woman, as a human.
That's so good. That's so good. Because if you don't network and you're stuck with your circle, eventually your circle gonna get tired of paying for your services. You have to think
right.
You have to think beyond your circle, right? And so, like you said, your inner circle is not that big. So if you weren't networking, if you didn't have a network of people that just heard about you, word of mouth, those 10 little people, if their circles are also small, then it's hard to grow. I think that networking is so important because you never know who you're going to meet.
That's true.
And what resources and tools that they can provide you, whether it's words of affirmation, whether it's confirmation, whether it's something that you've been praying about or writing about and manifesting. And then you meet somebody and they speak that very thing to you without knowing. Without knowing. It's so important to just learn and grow because you don't have to do it alone. You don't need need to do it alone. You shouldn't do it alone, and you don't have to, because there are people out there that have done it before that are going through. Because when being an entrepreneur, there are storms, there are late nights, there are tears, there are a lot of things that come with it alone.
That is true. And you shouldn't, though.
You shouldn't.
You should not do it alone. It's a lonely road as it is.
It is.
Find you some community, find you some resources, find you some networking.
Yes. Find you a community and come to dress. Come to dress, because that's what we are here for you. Come to dress. So I'm glad you are here. All right, so let's keep the party going.
Yes.
What advice do you have for individuals who may feel intimidated by the idea of bringing an entrepreneur mindset to their current role?
Well, I would first consider, where the intimidation is coming from, right? Like, what type of leader or organization are you serving? And is there a way to serve that, role or individual in a way where you can bring your ideas? Because I know we all have ideas, and we all should have an opportunity to speak on those and share those. So if there's some intimidation, I would first try to understand where that is coming from, and then just find a creative way to connect to the person or the thing to get your message across. Because at the end of the day, if you have something to contribute, then you're trying to help. And help means acceleration. And so who doesn't want to receive help and or accelerate in whatever they're doing? So I would say, first seek to understand, like, why do I feel this way? And if it's a personal thing where you're just not as confident, then build that. Work on building that so that you can walk in any room and be like, hey, I have something to share, or I have something to say. And it's all about delivery and position. You don't have to be boisterous and be like, all right, listen to me. It can be, hey, I really do have something that I think will be of value to you. Yeah. And I think that right there mitigates intimidation. But I think it starts with the person too, because some people are just very shy. And so they're like, I have something to say, but I'm like, okay, write an email, get it over there, get it out and send it. So that would be my response to that.
I love that. And practice, practice saying it, because it's important. I was always told, and I share this story a lot. When I was in college, my mentor said, show up and dress for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. And that doesn't mean your outward appearance. That means you as a whole person. So how you show up, the way that you leave, the representation that you leave. When I leave a room, I want you to be like, oh, Erica was here. Erica with the A was here.
Yes.
Right? Like Erica was here. I love her. And so that's important, that you know who you are and you know your why. And I think that in that space, once you know who you are, whose you are, and your why, that at any room you can show up and have that entrepreneur mindset, because you're going in, you're thinking like a leader. A lot of people are like, I'm not meant to be a leader. I don't want to be anybody's boss. You don't have to be somebody's boss. You don't have to have a team under you to be a leader.
Correct.
Right? You don't have to have that. And so I think that waking up every day and choosing joy and choosing to say, I am going to be the best version of myself today and every day. And every day you might not get it right. Right. Every day, but every day is a good day. You might have an instance or a situation that comes up, but that doesn't, take away from the fact that the day was good. Right. Right. And I
would even speak to say every day is a good day, even if it's bad, because now what did you learn from that?
Exactly.
What growth came from that thing that you consider bad? When they say count it all joy, it's all. Right. And so you have to even dissect those things that don't make you feel great and determine why. Oh, well, I didn't get enough sleep. That's why I didn't feel good. There's always something connected to what we go through. Yes. And if we choose to take a moment to process that, the good, we can process that easily. Ooh, I had a good day. It was sunny and da, 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 da. But when you don't have a good day, if you take a moment to process that and understand why, you're like, you know what? I probably should have drank more water. I was cranky because I was hungry, or what, or you know what? I probably should have got more sleep. Or you know what? It's time of the month. I should just not even be around people. You got to really think about what is happening with you. I think a lot of things start with self. And once we have that self-assessment, then we can go out in the world and move and shake however we need to.
That's right. It starts with you and knowing who you are. I think that, to your point, when you know who you are, you can identify and recognize, I was hungry. My stomach was growling all day, and all I had was some crackers or some water, because I've been in meetings. Don't take time out to just understand who you are, and then you'll know, like, okay, girl, here I am.
Yep.
Come on, Fatima. I'm here for this. All right. Let's check the comments. Think beyond your circle. Yes, Bridget.
Mm-hmm.
Seek to understand why you're intimidated and don't let it stop you from using your voice.
I love
Amen. That's a
it.
word. And we always like dropping gems and words up in this conversation. Okay. All right. So, how can individuals balance the need for innovation and risk, ta taking with the demands of their current job or responsibilities? Mm,
When I hear that, I think incremental. Right. I
incremental.
think, don't try to be innovative all in one big, oh, I'm going to do this and then execute. Think incremental. Think about what you have. Think about what your resources are. Think about who your support team is. Because if we're being innovative and we're creating these new pathways in our business, if we don't have the proper channels in place, processes, systems, people, now we have this innovative idea that's probably dope, but we're not executing it at a
Yeah.
level that's going to allow people to be like, she got this. Right. We can sometimes mess things up for ourselves by being too innovative.
Yeah.
And so just be incremental, take it one step at a time and know that what your plan is. Maybe it's something that needs to happen over the span of 6 months or a year, not 6 days or 1 month. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think taking the time to pace and sequence that out is going to help us as we continue. We have to be innovative. We have to create. We have to stay current. It is very competitive. So you want to make sure you're giving your best and proving, your rank and your mark or whatever, however you want to say that. But I would say do it incrementally.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't want to take on too much.
Don't take on too much.
Not too soon.
What's the saying? Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Yes, yes. And,
Yes.
and when you have the personnel in the team, I think through that innovation comes growth, and that translates into different levels of growth in the business. Now you're like, oh, I can hire a virtual assistant, which means you can now do more. And so it'll come, but sometimes we just have to pace it in such a way based on what we have access to.
Yes. Come on with a word.
We talking this morning.
I love that. All right. Can you provide some practical tips or strategies for incorporating entrepreneurial thinking into everyday tasks or projects?
Practical tips. Speak up. If you have something to say, if you have something to share, if you have something that's going to help somebody else, speak up. I think that's pretty practical. We talked a little bit about intimidation, but like you said, practice, get there, get in the room, speak up. Practical tips, I would say, just doing it, being resilient, figuring out what it is that you want to do and just one step, two step, get it done.
That felt like a song. So let's talk through that again. So is it okay to fail?
Absolutely. You cannot grow without failure.
Yeah.
You cannot grow without failure because life is a learning lesson.
Yes.
And there's so many opportunities where, yes, we always want to feel good. We always want to win. But how do you get to the next level? And how do you fail but help somebody else, right? Just because you fail, maybe that was something that happened to you so that you can show somebody else, you know what, this is what happened. This is what I went through. Now you're helping somebody else grow. Yeah. So I think failure is a good thing.
Yes.
It doesn't always feel good. It doesn't have to feel good though, because if you take and step back and choose like, okay, why did this happen? Okay, what was I supposed to see? Or who am I supposed to help? Now failure becomes an opportunity for growth in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And even in the healing journey, right? It's like, all right, how do I need to heal? How do I need to take care of me? Like I can take and twist anything into a positive. And again, I'll go back to, my statement or my mantra of counting it all joy. And sometimes that takes 2 days. I may not be able to count it all joy right when it happened. You're like, you know what? Yeah. But then it's like, as I take my reflection time and my journaling time and my moment, it's like, you know what? I see why. Yeah. I know why. I see how. And I know who I can share this with to help them. So that's failure for me. That is failure.
That's right. I love that because our tests and our trials become our testimonies, right? So I'm a firm believer in what we go through it's not just for us, it's for other people.
Yes.
So it's important to be able to say, girl, I failed. I failed at that the first time, but here I am today. because it helps people. Because again, people kind of look at being an entrepreneur or being a leader of all the glitz and glam.
Man.
They don't understand and think about the stuff that comes along with it.
The
So to be
sacrifices.
able to be honest and transparent about the failures and about just the hardships that come along with it, it is helpful. It was helpful for me. It's helpful for me to hear, girl, let me tell you, the first time I did this, it didn't work.
Right.
You know, I dived right in and thought that I was gonna get, you know, $50,000 in my first 6 months, and I had $5.
$5. I'm in the negative. No, that's the truth. Though.
Yes.
That's the truth. And I always say, you know, what am I growing through?
Yeah.
I never say what am I going through.
Yeah.
What am I growing through? Because that right there is also going to change my mindset and how I'm processing what that journey feels like. And I do want to feel good. I don't want to feel bad. So I'm like, all right, this is a growth opportunity. You know, and so if you can do that, and own that mindset, oh, it's on.
Come on, because it's a growth mindset.
It's a growth mindset. What am I growing through?
Yes. And there's a really good book out there called Chasing Failure by Ryan Leake. And I love that book because it's so important that it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail. And then it's okay to not only fail, but it's also okay to talk about the failure. So yes, I love that. What am I going through?
What am I growing through? Yes, put it on a t-shirt.
Listen, you can market that t-shirt. Now don't run. We're not telling you to start a business.
No, we're not saying
if that is not your thing. But I'm saying that's a t-shirt.
It's a t-shirt. Like, go ahead and put it at the whole you. Come on up to the gym. What are you going through? Yes.
I love it. All right. So what resources or support systems have been most valuable to you on your entrepreneurial journey?
Resources and support systems. I think I talked a little bit about cohorts. That has been amazing. I recently finished the Goldman Sachs cohort, and when I tell you, we dissected, I think there's like 13 modules. We dissected so many different parts of our business, from operations to marketing to finances to people. Not only us, but the people that are in our organization. It was so dynamic and so detailed. So that is a resource that I would say. And there's so many free cohorts. There's some paid ones. There's some people who are going to say, hey, you can do this for 6 months or 1,200. But there's also some very good qualitative free ones. So I would say that. What was the other part of the question?
What resources and support systems have been most valuable to you in your entrepreneur journey?
And then, so when I think about resource, I think about tools and just things that have allowed me to create processes and systems, right? You want an opportunity to where if you choose for your business to be replicatable, it can do that. And so that is something that I've personally been working through, is like, what are my systems? What are my processes? If there's like a whole you what can I pick up and take and be like, boom, this is it. This is how we did it. And so documenting those things. And I don't know if you want specific tools, like I use Honeybooks, I use Vagaro. Those are some of the things that I use to help just process my flow. Honeybooks for contract management, invoicing. Vagaro is good for scheduling, for booking, marketing. Everybody's infusing AI tools now with their resources, so to just assist you in being more efficient. And then that communication piece. So. And my calendar is always going to be my resource. I ain't doing nothing without that thing.
If it ain't on my calendar, it ain't happening.
It is not happening. But even calendaring from a standpoint of just managing, right? Everything. Not just what my day looks like, but what does my year look like? And then how do I take that year and make sure my 6 months look good? And now my 3 months look good. And now it goes all the way down to the day and the hour. And that calendar even... okay, what does it look like as I look down on it? Not when I scroll up my phone. Did I build in some self-care days? Did I build in a moment to just sit still and not deal with anybody? I have 3 service businesses. Sometimes I need a day where it's like, whoop, everything's off, right? Did I build that in though strategically? And then am I driving and am I working harder? Am I accelerating my business? So the calendar is a tool. It is a tool and it is a resource. And it's definitely the leader of my life. Married to that thing.
Married to the calendar. Okay. But that's important because you planned it out, right? Write it down, make a vision, write it down,
make it plain.
See it, make it plain.
But I think it also helps too, I think about the mental aspect of that. And I'll say that if I have a plan and if I put it on my calendar, it's not up here in my head. We got a lot of stuff that live in our head. It's like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. I hear that so much. But if I know I got to do all of these things, it don't have to happen in a week.
That's right.
And sometimes you look at that thing and you're like, I can do this next month.
Yeah.
So you put it on the calendar for next month. Now it's off of here
Yeah.
because you know it's there. And when it pop up, do it. Don't silence it, right? How many times we silence that notice because we're going to get back to it. Just go ahead and use that resiliency
Right.
and do it right then and there because now it's done. You get to cross it off and you get to move on.
That's right.
You don't get to keep repeating that same task.
And it's a part of accountability. For me, my calendar holds me accountable.
Mhm.
My calendar holds me accountable.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, oh, girl, you need to do X, Y, and Z. Make sure you have that done. And when I look at my calendar, I don't just look at it the day of.
Yes, no.
I'm planning my week out. I'm planning, the night before, like, what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I need to prioritize for the day? Because I'm going to take care of me too.
Yes,
Right. You
yes.
have to take care of you. And so I think that calendar allows you to do that.
Absolutely.
So I love that you said that because again, my time is money and my time is expensive.
It's a currency. That's a fact.
And so for me, it's also expensive for me to waste my own time because we can waste our own time.
Yes, we can. Yes,
we can waste our own time.
Yep.
So yes, time management, calendar management. It's a tool for success. It's a tool for success. All right. So are there any other questions in the audience that you want to throw? Feel free to do that.
Yes.
But if not, Fatima, if not, what final words of encouragement or advice do you have for individuals looking to embrace their inner entrepreneur and take control of their career paths?
I love this question. And I'm going to just go to my notes because this is something that I personally keep in front of me. And sometimes I have to tell myself this when I wake up and when I get in the car and I'm driving to do the thing. And it's basically don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect idea or the perfect mindset. If you have something where you're like, this is what I know I'm supposed to be doing, do it. Just start because it's never going to feel like the perfect opportunity. It's never going to feel like everything is right. Everything is lined up. There's going to be so many growth opportunities from making the decision to become an entrepreneur that it's never going to be perfect. There's going to be moments where it feels good. You're on a high, you're getting all these different accolades. And there's going to be moments where it gets really silent and you have to be reflective and you have to be, that faith walk gets a lot stronger. So there's not a perfect moment. It is life. It has been a game changer being an entrepreneur in terms of my spiritual life, my personal life, all of the things. It has been impacted. And for me, it's been an upline. It hasn't been bad. There's been moments of growth. There's been moments of opportunity, but it's all been good. And so I would say my final thing is begin where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
Ooh,
that's what I tell myself. Begin where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. And that does not put you out of your scope of where you are, because that is going to elevate as you continue to elevate.
Is that on a poster at the gym?
It's about to be.
It should be.
It's personal.
Is that on
it's something that I use. There's a second T-shirt.
Look, we in a T-shirt business.
We are definitely going to listen. Let's be segueing into something. But it is something that I honestly have to tell myself each day. And as I think about the 3 different brands, when I get in my car and I'm listening to whether it's some gospel, some worship, some Londrell, some Tony Jones, it's like I'm always trying to, and then sometimes, it's a little trap in there too. I need that. But I say, begin where you are, use what you can, use what you have, do what you can, period. That makes a great day.
I love that. I love that so much. Say it again for the people in the back.
I'm going to go to my notes because we're going to get this on a T-shirt for the people in the back. So begin where you are.
Begin where you are.
Use what you have.
Use what you have.
And do what you can. And the emphasis is on you. Because it ain't about what she can do, what he can do, what they can do. It's what you can do. Do what you have, where you are.
It all goes back to you.
Y-O-U.
Right?
Yeah.
Y-O-U. You and knowing who you are. Right? If you know who you are, you can begin where you are. Use what you have and do what you can.
Yep.
But you got to know who you are.
You got to know who you are.
And from this conversation and the other times that I met you, you know who you are.
I do.
You know who you are and you know whose you are.
Yes. Listen, we'll be on here another hour. Don't do this. We'll be on here another hour.
That'll
preach. Tune in for another hour because I can definitely go there with you.
Listen, that'll preach, that'll teach. That's a whole word.
Yes.
And so I truly appreciate you for just dropping those gems,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing your story with us, for being phenomenal, for
you.
just being a great business owner in the
Thank
community.
you.
I
Thank
knew
you.
about you before I knew about you.
Thank you. That's great.
And so I'm grateful for you and the space that you created, and for allowing entrepreneurs to see you and being transparent, because again, failure is real,
Yes.
right? Though
Yes.
you haven't failed, but just your story
Mhm.
and sharing just who you are.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've seen the work. I've seen the work. I had the
Firsthand.
drinks. I seen the first hand of the personal trainer.
Mhm.
I've had the drinks from the bar.
Mhm.
I'm a fan.
Thank you.
I'm a
Thank you.
fan.
Thank you.
Kudos to you. How can people find you?
Yes. So on social media, I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Mrs. Fatima Bouyer is kind of like my personal entrepreneurial high level journey. And you can find that on LinkedIn. The Whole You Wellness Studio is on Instagram and Facebook. A lot of the content is under Gym Badass. You also have Office Badass and Badass Mobile Bartending. So if you find one, they're all interconnected. You'll find them all.
Yes, y'all better tap into Miss Fatima.
Thank you.
I'm just telling you, her energy, it feels real good to me.
Thank you.
You know, we're gonna start our t-shirt business.
It's gonna be a segue. We already got two
Yes.
lines. We already have two.
Yeah,
so.
they're not gonna be cheap though.
No,
They
we're giving y'all quality. We've done this, so we know
Yeah.
we're going to start at the upper echelon. But I do want to thank you for having me here today and having me in the studio. It's been a very long time since I've personally been back down here. So I'm very grateful to have been invited and to just be able to share a bit about my journey and my story.
you.
And I think this flip side of entrepreneurship needs to happen more. These
Yes.
conversations need to happen a bit more.
I agree wholeheartedly.
I'm an open book. If you have questions, I have answers. I will keep it real, the good, bad, and indifferent.
I love
So hit me
it.
up.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. I truly appreciate you taking time out of your Thursday. This conversation, or these conversations, our Empower Her virtual series happens every second Thursday of the month at 11:30. So I hope that you put it on your calendar. Make time to be here and listen in, because we have some great topics planned out throughout the year. And then get connected to Dress if you are not already. Share with your friends. We would love to have you. Dress is for all women. So I hope that we see you soon. Have a wonderful day. I'm Erica Morgan, and we'll see you soon.